Shalom everybody, hope you're doing well. Akiva here on a beautiful Friday morning in the land of Israel. I want to share with you a word about this week's Torah portion, Parshat Trumah. Right, after all the journeys of the Jewish people that we learned about in Egypt, coming out of Egypt, the miracles, the splitting of the sea, the receiving of the Torah, and then last week going into more of the details of the laws of the Torah, we learn in this week's Torah portion, we're starting to learn about the Mishkan, which we're going to learn about for many, many Torah portions now. And we're introduced to the Mishkan, this traveling sanctuary, this traveling temple that the Jews had with them through their 40 years of journeying through the wilderness, and then even in the land of Israel for many years. We learn about it, we start learning about it in a very interesting way. Because at the very, very beginning of the Torah portion, it says that God, the Creator, speaks to Moshe and says, speak to the children of Israel, v'yikhuli trumah, that they should take to me trumah, donations, that they should donate all these kinds of materials that will be necessary for building of this Mishkan. But the language of v'yikhuli, to take to me, is interesting. It's a pause for us in the Torah. What is the Torah trying to say to us? Because usually we say, take from me, right? You take something from me. You don't say, that they should take to me. I give to you. I don't take to you, right? So the various commentators on these words of the Torah share with us that what it's saying is that v'yikhuli, take to me, that really we're just giving back to God what's already God's, right? And it's a very interesting and a very beautiful point, right? What I believe it's saying is a very deep underlying idea of the Torah, of all of existence, right? That everything is in the realm of God. Everything belongs to God. Everything is attached to, is connected to, is a part of God. There's nothing separate from God, right? There's nothing separate from the divine existence that is this world, that encompasses everything. Right? What might seem like mine and what might seem like yours, what might seem like this or like that, as separate, as different, is really all one, is all connected to the Creator, is all connected back to God. Right? In our world of physicality, okay, things seem like there's separateness. It seems like there's separateness in the world. But the essential reality is that there's no such thing as separate. It's all in the realm of God. Right? And this idea surfaces a few times throughout our Torah portion, right? We in this Torah portion, it goes through some of the different vessels and the different things that are built that will go into the Mishkan, that become part of the Mishkan, right? Two of these things are the Aron HaBrit, the Ark of the Covenant, and its cover, right? This beautiful cover that gets built for the Ark of the Covenant, in which the Ten Commandments and will get put eventually. Right, but this cover is built out of pure gold and has this beautiful design in it. On either side of this cover, there's this beautiful, like, winged creatures, right, in beautiful, beautiful detail. And the Torah says that it must be built out of one solid piece of gold. Not that it should be like a cover should be built, and then these two winged creatures will be created, sculpted separately and then attached to the cover, which is the way a normal artisan would make it. No, it has to be built out of one solid piece of gold, which means you take one piece of gold and you basically carve it until this design is formed, making one solid piece of gold. Right? One piece of gold. We see this also with the menorah. The menorah in all of its beautiful detail and all of its different parts, right? Also must be made out of one piece of gold, not made separate different branches and then attached all together afterwards. No, one, right? The vessels of the Mishkan and the Mishkan itself teach us that everything is one, right? Everything is one, right? We learn that the Mishkan is really like a microcosm of the world, a map of the entire universe, right? And if we're to believe, if we're to be told, right, that the world is really one, despite what our physical eyes see, that the world really has an inherent oneness to it, then the Mishkan must embody that as well. And it does in the vessels, in the Mishkan itself. Right? The vessels are screaming out, I am just one, all is just one. Right? And another point in the Mishkan, after the making of the curtains, which are, or the coverings which will go over the Mishkan, it says, and the Mishkan will be one. Right? The Mishkan, this physicality that's brought into a holiness, embodies, imbues, radiates, vibrates with oneness, so that everyone who comes to the Mishkan won't forget that there is a oneness in the world. Not only that God is one, but everything is one. God is everywhere. right? Everything is a part of God. There's nothing that's separate, right? There's this beautiful teaching from Pirkei Avot, which embodies this as well, right? It says that Rabbi Elazar Ish Bar Tota says, "Ten lo mishalo, sheta v'shocha shalo." Give. It's the same thing as this Torah portion is teaching us. Give to God, right, from what is already God's, because you and what is yours is God's, right? It's all one, right? Again, we live in this physical world which is always trying to trick us, right? Not in a malicious kind of way, but that's just the nature of physical reality, right? Always trying to, or always showing a separateness, always leading us to believe that there is not an inherent oneness in this world, right? But the Torah comes to teach us something very different, right? The Mishkan comes to teach us something very different, right? That there is a oneness in this world, right? And when we connect to this oneness, it creates such a different reality. Because if everything is one, if you and I are one, how could I ever hurt you, right? If I am part of God, how can I ever want to do anything against divine, beautiful will, right? That oneness, that inherentness, right, creates a certain mindset, a certain consciousness and awareness and a certain behavior, right? Which in the end we know is what it's all about, our actions. I want to bless you and I want to bless me, that we should really tap into, always remember, every single day. Why do we say the Shema every day and all these different mitzvot every day, reminding us about the oneness? Because it's so easy to forget. Every day we have to remind ourselves, right? And when we remind ourselves, right, so we become more aware, more conscious people with more beautiful, sweet actions. I want to bless you and bless me, right? That we should tap into this consciousness, that we should imbue this consciousness, share it with others, and help to create a world where that oneness is just so apparent. Because one day in the future, it will no longer will our eyes trick us. It'll be so clear that everything is one. Much love from the land of Israel. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.